Hi, this is Troy, and today's session is going to be on building assembly. This will probably be one of my longer type videos, but let's kind of jump right in. So let's take a look first. If we click on Assemblies, and just kind of show you a comparison. So if we look at one of the stack assemblies, let's hop into concrete, look at foundation, and let's take a look at a footer here. So we can see here that the math behind an assembly can get incredibly complex, okay? And that's why we offer these pre-built catalogs. So if you don't want to, to do this, but you can certainly build your own, and they don't need to be this complex. So by contrast, let's take a look at a drywall. So this is what I would consider to be more of a simplistic type assembly. Let me kind of walk you through here. So we've got one made for drywall wall, and we have a grouping for required items, and then we have 3 different item groups. So how this works is we're saying every time that we use the drywall wall assembly, it's going to include tape, and then bottom and top track every time, okay? And then we have item groups. So think of these as like drop-down menus that you can choose from. So you can choose which stud height that you want to use. You can choose the length of your screws from the drop-down, and you can choose the thickness of your actual drywall there. Okay? So let's actually build one of these. So whenever you're working with an assembly, everything starts with an item. So all of these are individual items to be created, and then those items are attached to an assembly. So let's kind of do that. We're going to hop over into the items world, and let's create a new folder to put all this in, and new drywall assembly. Ooh, look at that spelling. All right, and then we're going to create our items into this. So we're going to go to the little edit pencil. We're going to create our items, and we'll start with tape. We'll say we purchased that by the roll. Unit of measure there would be a linear foot, and we'll say that one roll covers 250 linear feet. I'm going to skip pricing just for time's sake. Hop in here to create and add another. So here is where we have our track bottom, and we can say it's an 8-foot section. We purchase that by the section. That is a linear feet, and then we have one section equals 8 linear feet, and then we can hop right in, create and add another, and then just override this. So we've got bottom, we're going to make this one top. Boom, everything else remains the same, and we're good. So create and add another, and let's do our metal studs. So 3 5/8 metal studs. Purchase unit is by the stud. Our unit of measure is linear. And then we're going to say that one stud every 1.33 linear feet. That gives us our 16 inches on center. Again, we can put pricing if we want. Oops, let's put a height in here though. So we'll say that is 8 foot. Create and add another, and now we're just simply changing the height here. So 10 foot, create and add another, and make that a 12 foot. Awesome. Create and add another. Let's do our fasteners. So screws, 2 inch. Oh my goodness. Screws, 2 inch. We purchase that by the box. That is a square foot calculation. And we can say in one box, we get a coverage rate of 300 square feet. Again, we could do pricing if we wanted to. And then let's knock this down to 1 and 1.5 inch box, and say that coverage rate is slightly different. Say we get 350 square feet out of a box on that. All right, let's hop in here, and let's do our gypsum. So we can do 4 by 8 by 1/2, and we purchase that by the sheet. That is the square footage, and then one sheet equals 8 by 4, so 32 square feet. And then we'll just create another, and we can change our thickness here, make that a 1/4 inch, and make that 5/8. Oops. Okay, awesome. So we have our items created. So that wasn't too scary. It wasn't as bad. Okay, it was kind of quick. Let's hop into the assembly world. And we're going to do the same. I'm still going to kind of replicate and make a new folder. Oops, not editor folder. We're going to create a new folder. and then we're going to build a new assembly within that new folder. So edit pencil, create an assembly here, assembly name, new drywall. The assembly ID at this point in time doesn't have any relevance. You can just put a number just to get past. Okay, so now we're going to start with our required items. So let's grab those 3 items that we made right here to add. And this is why I built a folder. So we can go right here to a new drywall assembly, and then we can quickly grab our tape and our bottom and our top track. Boom. Okay, so there we have it. There's our 3 required items. So now let's work on our groups. We're going to add a group. We can call it metal studs. Boom, and now we're going to add items in here. Again, we're going to hop back into the folder that we created, and then here is our 10, 12, and 8, just like so. Now here we are going to, actually that's a linear foot, so we can just keep it simple like that. Because we're saying that there's going to be 1 stud every 3 feet, so, and that's fine. So I know in the previous one I showed you we multiplied by wall height. Don't really need to in this scenario for the studs. Let's hop into our next item, which is the screws, which again we can use, oops, add a group. And then let's add the 2 screws that we built. So let's add our item. Again, we're going to pop open that little folder right there, and then grab our 2 inch and 1.5. Boom. Okay, so our square footage. So right here we're dealing with linear feet, which is awesome, and we're doing here with linear feet, which is awesome. Now we're dealing with square feet, so we do need to make a conversion here. Okay, so I figure we're going to do a linear measurement, but we're going to need to multiply it by the wall height to get that conversion. So we're going to hop in here and edit this. So if we take a look real quick, we saw that 350 square feet for the coverage right there, 300 square feet, or 300 square feet per box for the coverage right there. This is what we're going to do. Hop in there, we're going to create a new variable down here. So there's all our predetermined. We're going to call one wall height in feet. Okay. Now put a space in. Gotta be careful, no spaces. And save. So kind of think through the math here. So what we're really doing is we're taking a linear measurement, and then we're going to multiply that by the wall height in feet. Okay, and that's going to give us our coverage for the wall, and then we're going to divide by the coverage rate of our items. So by 300, I believe that one was, and then we can hit save. So we can always test that too by entering, say, we got 1,000, and our wall height is 10 feet, and that's going to calculate the number of boxes there. So we know our formula there is good. Oops, and I overwrote it up, and it was 350. So measured linear times wall height divided by coverage rate, 350. Now I'm going to copy this because we're going to use the same thing right below. Save, hop into here, I'm going to paste that, and then change that coverage rate to 300. Okay, looking really good there. And let's hop into our axle gypsum boards. We're acting another group, so we'll call this one drywall. Same thing, we're going to add our 3 items that we created. Hopping back into our little thing there, and then here are our 3 sections of drywall. There we go, and our 3 items. Okay, so we're in the same scenario here. So we're dealing with square footage, but we're drawing a linear measurement. So we're going to have to multiply by a wall height. So let's hop in. It's going to be the same. Hop in there. We've already have this built, so it's super fast. We're going to say measured linear times our wall height divided by our coverage rate, which was our 32. Okay, and we can just replicate this. So we're going to copy, save, paste that in, save, paste that in, and save. Okay, So that is it. We just built that same assembly. So not terrible. We did that in about 12 minutes or so. So as you can see, that they can be as complicated as you want, or they can be as simplistic as a lot. A lot of times you can just stay with the actual coverage rate as long as you're within the same unit of measure, which is awesome. Sometimes you may need to do a conversion just like so. Just remember, we are here to help you with this. Feel free to give us a call. You can also chat in with questions on this. We do realize that the assemblies rule can be a little bit confusing, so like I said, we are there to help you. Once these things are built, they are amazing. You just use them over and over and over again. So like I said, we're talking about a little bit of time like this on the front end. As you can see, it wasn't a terribly long time. We got it done, and it is now good forever. All right. Thank you very much for your time today.